It looks and feels like something out of Silicon Valley, a facade with 21st century chrome. Inside, intense, youngish folks are burnishing what they hope is the killer application. We are in fact 2,000 miles from Silicon Valley. Turning Technologies, headquarters, Youngstown, Ohio.
So if you'd pick up your device and key in an answer.
Sheila Hura shows how her company's system allows teachers or presenters to interact with their audience using wireless remotes. What's the question here?
Turning Technologies products are currently used in how many countries?
Multiple choice questions with instant answers. It's even been used with the studio audience at the Regis and Kelly TV show.
The correct answer is 3.
But if we're taking a quiz, here's the question. For Turning Technologies, why Youngstown, the city that symbolizes the crash and burn of the American steel industry?
The location of a software company is irrelevant. Nobody turns the box over and said, let me see where this software is from before I decide to use it.
Jim Crossler calls himself Evangelist-in-Chief for the Youngstown Business Incubator, a nonprofit that supports startup companies with connections to funding or expertise. Incubator companies agree to play nice and to lend each other engineering tips and customers. The incubator's collection of software fledglings is located next door to Turning Technologies. Crossler likes to show off his hometown, including Youngstown State University. Some hipster restaurants have sprung up, and the Youngstown Symphony comes up a lot. After a tour, Crossler says folks tend to like what they see, but then there's invariably the question.
I really just can't imagine a program like this in Youngstown. And I feign kind of an indignation, and I get close to them, I get in their face, and I go, you know, what do you think? Someone drew a stupid circle around my city, that we don't have intelligent people here, we don't have imaginative people here.
One way to attract people without these preconceptions is to go after the city's alumni, people who grew up here or went to school here but then moved away.
It's reaching our diaspora, who's located all across the country. And they're actually coming back. And they're coming back with the ideas they saw when they lived in Austin for the last 7 years, when they lived in Portland, Maine, when they lived in San Diego.
Jay Williams is one who came back. A career in banking beckoned elsewhere, but 5 years ago, at the age of 34, Williams ran for mayor and won. A big job for him was breaking with the past.
The community held on too long for a dream that was not to return.
Mayor Williams was in just first grade on that fateful day in 1977 when the Youngstown sheet and steel plant closed, wiping out thousands of jobs here in a single stroke. Did you have a sense of it, or was it something that you have any memory at all of?
My generation is the first generation who doesn't remember their parents necessarily working in a steel mill. My grandparents did. So the Youngstown that I and some of the younger generations see, we view it as a blank canvas.
Under Williams, a new picture of Youngstown is taking shape. While the public schools remain a challenge, crime in Youngstown is way down. And there's that embrace of the new.
I say the Business Incubator has the potential to define the future of Youngstown as significantly as the steel mills did some 100 years ago.
Giving birth to a promising new business is one thing, but getting the successful ones to stay is another. What's to stop a company like Turning Technologies from decamping to some fancy place like San Francisco? Well, for starters, the costs here are cheap for personnel, for rents, and just parking a car here in downtown Youngstown is pretty cheap. Take a look at that, 75 cents for a day.
For a relatively little investment, people can come and take a risk about opening a business and succeed, and those that don't succeed, they don't lose their shirt.
And they can buy something that approaches a mansion for less than the price of a one-bedroom condo in some fancier city. This one went for less than $200,000 to a web and marketing expert who'd worked in Washington, D.C. Crossler is also proud of attracting a San Francisco data mapping firm called Revere Data.
Because of the cost of doing business in San Francisco, they decided to establish their research center in Mumbai, India. It wasn't working real well in Mumbai, and 3 weeks ago they closed that center and they moved it to our campus here in Youngstown, Ohio, because of the inexpensive cost of operating research centers from here.
So Youngstown got business from Mumbai, India. There's a switch.
Yeah, we call it onshoring.
If the young and the innovative are to move to a town, a sense of cool is helpful. John Slanina works for Revere after earlier tech jobs in Europe. These days, he also writes an online blog celebrating what he calls Rust Belt chic, that is, promoting the area's rich ethnic traditions.
We realized what built this place was a lot of different cultures. We are definitely multicultural society for many, many generations, and a lot of those traditions, such as there's one down the road here where they actually attach fireworks to someone and they dance and they go off on the body. It's called the baby doll dance. You know, it's kind of cool.
That one happens to be an Italian-American festival. Slanina, for the record, is Slovenian-American. But another lingering Youngstown tradition is joblessness. It must be frustrating to you when you see the current unemployment in this city. It's still quite high.
It is still quite high, and it is frustrating. However, it's frustrating, and we believe, though, that there is a path out of this. When you see jobs being created in the city of Youngstown, it gives us a sense of hope and inspiration.
It's an attitude powerful enough even to get a rise out of the steel industry. A French company is now investing $650 million and creating 350 jobs in Youngstown to serve the booming market in underground natural gas. The product? Not software, but good old steel pipe.